Isn't satisfaction the best?
It's fun to realize that more and more of you are coming into the awareness that good does feel good. Who knew? Yeah.
So, where to begin?
With the thing that matters most.
Okay. Getting in this hot seat for me at this event is easy. It's expected.
Do you hear what he's saying about expectation? There's no separation between his desire and his belief. Therefore it is.
So it's almost a choice. To me, it feels like it's a choice. I'm choosing time for me to be in the hot seat here.
Everything's that way.
And that's what I wanted to talk about is how do I get to a place where all desires simply just become a choice?
Since words don't teach, this is the way we like to say this to all of you. We know these things, and we see evidence of them everywhere. Been around for a long time. So we offer examples to you that are in complete alignment. They are completely vibrationally accurate with the laws of the universe. And we know for sure that when you're in sync with the laws of the universe, it's sort of like being in sync with the laws of gravity. Don't try to defy it. Don't jump out of airplanes without parachutes. It's not going to end the way you might like it to. Just say to yourself, this will be over soon, and it will. So the laws of the universe are consistent, which means as you understand them, then you are able to apply them in ways that feel better to you. When you think about something that you desire, that you don't believe, and it doesn't feel good, then the question is, well, how can I bring myself into vibrational accord with that? And so we say the way to come into vibrational accord with 100% of what's in your vortex. Do you know what we mean by the vortex? We're just going to tell them briefly just in case they don't know, because this is an important piece. As you in your physical body are sifting and sorting, knowing what you don't want and knowing what you do want, even at unconscious levels or at levels where you're not giving a whole lot of attention to it, you are launching these rockets of desires or preferences. When someone's rude, you know you want them to be nicer. When you're rude, you know you want to be nicer. If you don't have enough money, you know you want more money, and so forth. So this vibrational reality is gathering, sort of like the fetus in a womb. And law of attraction is gathering the cooperative components, so it's becoming more and more and more and more and more. Well, it reaches a place of being ready to be birthed into your experience. But if you're not a vibrational match to what it is, in fact, if you're like so many people and you are a vibrational mismatch to what it is, you want it, but, in other words, I want more money, but I don't have enough. If you are not a vibrational match to it, then even though it is offering revelations, impulses, your inner being is guiding you continually on how to get closer to what you want and how to understand that every choice that you make can be manifested. If you're not in the vibrational vicinity of that, then you miss it. And so we teach that through meditation, there are other ways, but meditation is the clearest, easiest, surest way. When you quiet your mind, sit for 15 or 20 minutes, and usually by the end of that 20 minutes, you can, if you've found something to focus upon, like the flicker of a flame or a dripping of a faucet or even the sound of the air conditioner in the room or your own breathing, just find something to focus on that takes your attention away from things that are bothering you. Your vibration will rise, and usually you feel a feeling of detachment in your physical apparatus. And what happens when you accomplish that is that since you have ceased all thought, then you've ceased all resistant thought, which means resistance isn't a factor in your vibration anymore, and your vibration rises, and then you are at one with your inner being, and then the impulses come. Well, we've offered this to you, and it is absolute, and yet for some those were only words. They were only words that don't have any true meaning, and therefore there's no true knowing on the part of those hearing until you have had the experience of meditating and quieting your mind and feeling the detachment and the vibration rising, and then actually felt or had the experience of something occurring to you that felt satisfying as it occurred. And as you followed the satisfying trail of these thoughts that are coming, it led to the manifestation that you want, such as in this case, the manifestation of being in the hot seat. So since words don't teach, only life experience does, we can't give you the knowing. We can only know it and offer as many examples of it as we can and have as many conversations where you feel energy moving. In other words, if we can convince you that a shift in your vibration will mean a shift in your experience, and if we can convince you that that doesn't mean getting others to be different, it means your perception of them being different, your perspective of them being different. Once you are able to control your perspective, then you can control your relationship with your inner being and with all of these resources and with what's in your vortex. And then it really does begin to feel like a choice. Everything's a choice. I am invincible, meaning I know how the laws of the universe work. I'm wise enough to know whether it's a satisfying feeling or not. I'm wise enough that if it's not satisfying, I change the thought when it's easy to change. I don't wait for the momentum of it to get so strong I can't change it. And so I'm in more control, you might say, of the way I feel. So I hang out in satisfaction more of the time, and life just gets better and better and better and better and better and better and better. That's how it works.
Awesome.
Now state your question to us again if you can, the one you started with. How can everything just be a choice?
Exactly.
By understanding that you already chose it. In step one, that's when you did all your creating. You chose it. It's in the vortex. Your inner being is tending to it. The cooperative components have been gathered. See, this is the piece that's missing for most of you. Hear this. We've not said this in this clear way before. Many humans think, well, if I'm the creator of my own experience and I want something that I don't have, then I should be able to just decide it and boom, there it should be. Instant manifestation, there it should be. And we say, you can get to that point, and in some cases you already are. But you didn't come to just decide and bam, decide and bam. You came to let life help you to choose and to continue to amend and add to what you want, to fill in the details, experience by experience, until you've created a really wonderful, rich, deep relationship with life. And then you intended to get into that mode of relaxation and letting it in and letting go of resistance, where you can then receive the impulses to move in the direction of it, because you didn't come for somebody else to just anoint you with stuff. You didn't come to just inherit from someone else what they had created. You came as creator, and you will never find satisfaction without being the creator. Which means, I don't like that, and I know I don't like it by the way I feel. Well, what is it that I do want? Well, I do want that, but I can't get that because I don't believe that yet. I'm still over here. So then you've launched it, and then you begin to find ways of letting yourself be more of a match to this than this. Sometimes it requires not thinking about it, because every time you think about it, you think about it in the same way that you used to think about it. We've been telling a story. Most of you haven't heard it. Some of you have. This is what we want you to hear. And then we're going to tell you a story that's going to make it easier for you to hear it. Right now, where all of your power is, you could absolutely do just as you say. If you're standing in this satisfied place of non-resistance, you could choose anything, and you would begin moving toward it, and you would know it. You would know first by the excitement or the exhilaration you feel as you first think about it. And then, if no one talked to you about how hard it is, and you didn't remember how hard other things like it had been, and you didn't start jamming up the circuit with beliefs and memories that clog it, it would just move steadily from this pure place of wanting into a manifestation. But during the process of it evolving, in the process of these thoughts turning to things, you will have other experiences that will cause you to put more defining things into your vortex. And so that's what deliberate creating at its best really is. You ask, it starts to come. Your new perspective shifts, because when that dropped in, you had a different vantage point, so more contrast caused you to offer another intention. You still find alignment, and so that comes along, which is a new experience, which causes more differing contrast. So would like to just zap you into an understanding that you are making those choices. Every single thing that you are living is because you are doing exactly what you wish to do, which means your question wasn't quite as clear as you wanted it to be, because you are constantly making those choices, and those choices are constantly coming into your experience exactly at the vibrational frequency that you've offered them. Esther has 2 houses in Southern California, and they're up on the hillside a bit, and they overlook the ocean, and we're trying to decide which story is the most emphatic, because there are 2 really great stories. So the guest house has a clay tile floor, and when Jerry and Esther were choosing that flooring, they chose it from a very beautiful sample. It was glazed, and it was shiny, and it was beautiful, and it's not what the builder installed, because he couldn't get it in a timely enough manner. So he chose another tile that wasn't glazed and said to Jerry and Esther, "We will seal it after it's down." Well, it never looked right, and the sealant never looked right, and the sealant won't stay in place, so chairs scrape it off. And Esther has been happy with that floor since it was put down 10 years ago. The point that we're wanting to make with you is that right now, Esther could offer a fresh vibration about that floor. She could find someone who could really renovate it and get it the way she wants it to look. If she's in a place of non-resistance, she could rip it all out and replace it with something that she really likes. She certainly can afford to do that. But she's paralyzed in it because her vibration now is not pure, because she keeps telling the story year after year of what went wrong. If you came to her house with her today, she would say, "Come on in, floor's ugly." And you would be looking around at the view and the other things. You wouldn't have even noticed the floor. "Esther, that's all she can see." She would say, "Oh, we chose the most beautiful tile. It was a glazed tile. It was shiny and so beautiful. But they didn't put it in, said they got something else. They said they would glaze it after the fact, but they didn't. They put a sealer on it that doesn't hold. Look under this table. Look where this chair is scraped across here over here. Look in here. Look over here. Look over here." So even though she could be doing what you are wanting to do, choose right now, she doesn't let herself choose because she keeps renewing that. Now, if Esther wasn't thinking the thoughts about what went wrong with all of that, no one would be thinking those thoughts. She's the only one that is keeping those thoughts active. Nobody else is thinking those thoughts. Nobody else ever did think those thoughts. Esther's the only one that ever thought those thoughts. So she cannot find the solution. She can't get to where she wants to be, which is so illogical to her, because she can get everything she wants. She chooses. All kinds of things happen around her. She's paralyzed relative to that. Now, why? What are the beliefs that she holds that won't let her pass that? That should not have happened. They shouldn't have made that decision without me. They shouldn't have done that. They should have sent us the tile and showed us what it looked like. They should have glazed a tile and shown us so that we could have seen the difference between the 2 tiles. We would have never chosen that. That was wrong that they did that. What other belief? I'd have to move all the furniture out of the house. People might bang it up when they move it out. Where would we put all the furniture when we move it out of the house? In other words, she's got all these very logical, practical beliefs that are not valid, that paralyze her, that keep her. So she holds herself in an uncomfortable place of attraction. Now, you see, we're talking about attraction. She wants a different floor. Calls a contractor. He comes over. He says, "Oh, I wouldn't remove this floor." Calls somebody else. He comes over. He says, "Yeah, I can remove this sealant," but he can't. Calls another guy. He comes over. "I can remove the sealant and I'll put this back on." Looks just about the same. She can't get to where she wants to be from where she is, because she keeps bringing everything forward. She's not in that fresh place. So the answer to your question is, you've got to be in a non-resistant place to just choose, because almost everything that you think about, you've got beliefs about it that are in the way of your choices. Does that make sense?
So it's perspectives we choose based on past circumstances that get in our way.
Say it again.
It's perspectives that we choose based on past circumstances that create the resistance that get in our way.
Yeah. A belief is just a thought that you continue to think. And so the answer is, just think the new thought more.